9 and 10's Caroline Powers joins us live in Lake Ann with the honor flight as veterans make last-minute preparations for the trip of a lifetime. Good morning, Caroline.
Hey, good morning, Courtney. Good morning, Adam. There is a really special atmosphere in this room right now as these veterans prepare for the trip of a lifetime. 61 World War II, Korean, and Vietnam veterans are gearing up for the Mid-Michigan Honor Flight to take off from Traverse City in just a couple hours. They are full of excitement, anticipation, and a lot of American pride. For many of them, this is their very first honor flight experience, and some have come all the way to northern Michigan to be a part of it. I'm here with Garrett Van Hill. You are a World War II veteran, and is this going to be your first honor flight trip?
Yes, ma'am. My first.
And what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking for the World War II Memorial because I'm a World War II veteran, and particularly I like to see the Korean Memorial because they're life-size, and when you're there, you feel like you're right going in the field with them. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight.
What makes this trip so spectacular for all of you guys to make?
I think for all the years that we gave for life, because I enlisted in 1942, and now we come to the end of life, we get this experience, and it's free for us, which I think is just wonderful. I really thank the people that put this on.
And anything particular you're looking forward to today, who you're making the trip with?
My son is going to be my guardian, and his name is Jeff. Yeah.
Well, we will be there every step of the way with these veterans today, and we're taking you along with us, so make sure you follow us on air, online, and on social media. From Michigan this morning, I'm Caroline Powers.
Fox 32's Caroline Powers joins us live in Lake Ann with the honor flight as veterans make last-minute preparations for their trip. Good morning.
Hey, Courtney. Hey, Adam. This room that we are in at Lake Ann with these 61 veterans and their guardians is just full of excitement, a lot of anticipation, and tons of American pride. The day we're about to have in Washington, D.C. is unlike any other for these people. We will be going along to see World War II, Korean, Vietnam memorials, Arlington Cemetery, and for many veterans, this trip is extremely special because it's their first time going to Washington, D.C. 94-year-old John Rogers served in World War II. And what makes this trip so exciting for you, John?
Well, the reason why, I've never been to Washington before, and I'd like to see all these memorials that have made for all the veterans.
And it's been really great because we've been at Lake Ann now since last night. It's really just been a night and morning full of celebrations, meeting new people. And what's been your favorite part about being here in this room full of 60 other veterans?
Listening to some of the stories that some of they got, that makes it real interesting to know what they've done when they were in the service.
Everyone's kind of got their own special story.
Right, yes.
Well, we'll be following these veterans along the entire way, telling their special stories with you guys on air, online, and on social media. So make sure you follow us along for this entire Mid-Michigan Honor Flight trip. Live in Grand Traverse County, I'm Caroline Powers for Michigan This Morning.
9 and 10's Caroline Powers in the midst of an unforgettable experience. She brings us to the World War II Memorial.
Charlie and Katie, we are here at the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's our first stop for today's Mid-Michigan Honor Flight. Most of the 61 veterans we made this journey with today served during the Second World War. And for some, this is their first time seeing this memorial built to honor their service. Today is extra special for longtime friends Gus and Sparky. Their friendship started more than 70 years ago after the war ended. And now at 95 years old, they're able to be here today in remembrance and reflection. The two friends say they are thankful to not only be here today, but be here together.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Best thing ever happened to us.
Yeah.
Never had anything happen like this.
No,
Never.
no, that's right. I agree with what he says there. I've never been here, and to be with each other like over here, that's just something else. Just something else.
Everybody's
Coming up tonight on 9 and 10 News at 6, we continue our Mid-Michigan Honor Flight journey with stops at the Korean and Vietnam War memorials. In Washington, D.C., I'm Caroline Powers for 9 and 10 News at 5.
9 and 10's Caroline Powers joined the veterans as they saw memorials built in their honor. She brings us to the Korean and Vietnam War memorials.
Charlie and Michelle, we just got to the Korean War Memorial, where veterans continue to share their stories and remember the ones they lost during their time at war. Before stopping here, the group was able to experience the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. One veteran who served in World War II, the Korean and Vietnam War, had the honor of laying a wreath on the plaza.
It was a big honor and kind of exciting too. Such a big crowd around, and to be able to take a wreath up for the unknown soldier, that's very few people have that honor.
Veterans say it's truly difficult to explain what this trip has meant to them today, but they are grateful for everyone who made it possible. We will have much more on this entire journey coming up tonight on 9 and 10 News at 11. In Washington, D.C., I'm Caroline Powers for 9 and 10 News at 6.
9 at 10's Caroline Powers was there every step of the way. She continues our coverage on what made this day so special for these incredible veterans.
It's been an unforgettable day for these 61 veterans who were able to make the trip to Washington, D.C. and see the memorials built to honor their service. And now they're heading home with humbled hearts.
Beautiful day, beautiful people. Yeah. Can't get any better.
The spotlight was on these 61 Michigan veterans today as they made the journey from Traverse City to Washington, D.C.
Welcome to Washington, sir. Thank you for your service.
Much more than I expected. It's just unbelievable to me.
Gus and Sparky both served in World War II. 70 years of friendship later, and at 95 years old, they're happy to be on this trip together.
Best thing ever happened to us.
That's right. I agree with what he says there. I've never been here, and to be with each other like over here, that's just something else.
Making the trip with other veterans is something retired Air Force Colonel Donald Kirkpatrick says is very special.
To be with the people you know that have done the same things you have and saved the country.
The day was full of remembering those we've lost, honoring sacrifices, and receiving endless thank yous from complete strangers.
Some of the small children even come up and thank you, which is, you don't expect it from children anymore.
And this is what greeted these incredible men and women as they returned back home tonight.
9 and 10's Caroline Powers and photojournalist Derrick Larr tagged along. They continue our coverage with a pair of brothers who experienced the day together.
Hundreds of people stood tall, American flags in hand, saluting and cheering as these men and women prepared to leave Traverse City for a trip they'll never forget. These 61 veterans were given the first-class treatment they deserve from the crowds of people ready to welcome them to Washington, D.C.
Welcome to Washington, sir. Thank you for your service.
To the police escort throughout the city.
That was fantastic. Unbelievable.
Many of the veterans came on this trip as total strangers, with only their war stories in common. But for Arthur and Harold Olin of Manistee, Thursday's honor flight was about experiencing it with family.
We have our sons. I got my son, he's got it.
The two brothers, only 15 months apart, both served in the Korean War. But before that, Harold spent time fighting in World War II.
I graduated high school. 10 days later, I was in Fort McClellan, Alabama.
And a few years later, Arthur found himself following in his brother's footsteps and heading into the Army.
Came home for Christmas and Ma said, you got a letter from the government. I said, yeah, what? We are calling you. So I was drafted into the Army.
Now, more than 65 years later, they're able to visit the Korean War Memorial and share this emotional experience together.
Different than what anyone could imagine. World War II is bad enough, but Korean and Vietnam, a different type of war.
Guess you got to be there to understand it.
Both say seeing these lifelike statues takes them back. And while it's difficult to relive some of the moments at war, they are glad they're doing it together and with their sons.
Tear-jerking.
Yeah, it is. I'm dropping tears right now. It's good for them to see that, too.
It is.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Not a single person went by without offering a handshake and their appreciation.
Thank you for your service.
Arthur and Harold say they're going home feeling extremely thankful for being able to make this trip.
Congratulating, and I really didn't feel like we did that much, you know.
I feel like a movie star, everybody.
But these 2 men and the 59 others on Thursday's Mid-Michigan Honor Flight are so much more than just movie stars. They're true American heroes. In Traverse City, Caroline Powers, 9 and 10 News at 6.